think we can get started, everybody. Welcome to Founder Fridays. I hope everybody is feeling good, feeling great. I hope you had a great week. Shout out to our third cohort. Excited for your first week, just getting into the grind of everything. That instrumental was a special request by amazing speaker Brittany today. So as you know, and you might not know, but as you can see now, she is a ball of energy. She is a phenomenal speaker, a phenomenal entrepreneur who has some exciting opportunities for you today, some exciting gems. Please be sure to take notes. But before we get to her, I do want to just do a quick check-in with the cohort. How are you feeling, guys? How was your week? Out of 10, feel free to drop it in the chat. Feel free to come off mute. Out of 10, how's your week feeling? Okay.
I'm feeling pretty good. This is Jalea, and today's my birthday, so it's even better.
Hey, you said today's your birthday?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Jalea.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. That is major. So I know we do not want to hold you long because I know you want to continue enjoy your birthday. Of course, because this is your first Founder Fridays, just to give you guys a quick overview, we chose Friday, of course, not to hinder you from getting to your weekend, but because Friday is a day of triumph. It's a day of, listen, we might have had a long week, but we made it. And now you just got some good energy to take in. You got some motivation, some momentum to take it in and go into the weekend. Just to be able to sit down, maybe hopefully get to relax on the weekend and just absorb some of the good knowledge you get today. So that's why we have Founder Fridays. It's more of a day of triumph to kind of just celebrate getting through the week, but then celebrate knowledge, celebrate, just learning from amazing industry leaders like Brittany herself. And so it's great to have you guys. Just a couple of small check-in things for you all. We did start our text thread today just to make sure that everybody is able to get up to par with any main high-level just information that you might need. Did everybody get into the text thread, or has anybody not been receiving the messages? Feel free to let me know. I know sometimes when creating group chats, some things don't go through. Okay, for some reason we don't have you in there, Jalea. But it's fine. I'll definitely be sure to make sure that you are in there and good to go. Yep, in the text thread. Yep. Oh, you did get it. Okay, cool. Yep. It's a text thread. So we just put everybody in there today just to remind you guys of when Founder Fridays are starting and just different fun and opportunities for your business. So other than the text thread, we're good to go on that. Also, have you had a chance to meet with your mentors yet, or at least initiate a conversation to get on their calendar? Anybody having issues hearing back from their mentors? Okay, sweet. Sarah, I think you're good to go. I remember seeing you communicate. Also, Jeremiah, I saw you were speaking with Claudia, so you're good, and Jalea as well. I know you are good to go with Nina. So I think everybody should be good as far as mentors. And other than that, of course, now you have a feel for the structure of the week. So, of course, a lot of the week is self-paced of video opportunities you guys can dive into, different video resources, funding opportunities. So self-paced up until Founder Fridays, where it's more interactive and engaging. But other than that, I want to say, of course, everybody wasn't able to make it to the welcome call that we had last week. So I do want to pass it over to our team just for any quick introductions for anybody that might have missed it. I'll pass it over to Clay for any words you might have, and then Jeff and Jewel as well if you guys had anything before we get started.
Thanks, Keontae. Hello, everyone. My name is Clay Williams. If you don't know, I'm the co-founder and COO of Venture for Them. I just want to say I'm grateful to be here with every single one of you. I think the founders, you are why we do this. You are the epitome of. I mean, you were. I would just. I don't know. I'm saying that to say I'm thankful for every single one of you because you guys are the reason why we're here to support the mission of what we do and the impact that you have on not only on your communities but your enterprises is something that we don't take for granted. And we definitely believe in double tapping and giving you the opportunity to be a part of this cohort will allow you to continuously grow and develop your businesses. And I'm just thankful to be a small part of that. I'm thankful to be helpful. Everybody here on the call is welcome to reach out to me. I'm more than willing to give you my condi. If you don't know my background, I come from VC. I've worked in a number of industries and I'm willing to be helpful. I mean, I do this practically for a living, so I'm more willing to help out as much as I can and more than willing to offer up any opportunities that can arise from it. So feel free. I'll put my number and email in the chat. And if you ever have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available for you, and I'm always willing to help out as much as I can. So I'll put my contact information in chat. Thanks again, and I'm blessed to be here.
All right, excellent introduction, Clay. My name is Jeffrey Scruggs. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for Venture for Them. Kind of work in the background, a lot of technical aspects of what we have going on for Venture for Them. We also have an app coming out. Should be here by end of the year. Got a lot of great things coming up. Day by day, my job, I am a AI ML scientist. I've done a lot of work for the DoD, the Pentagon, Navy, Army, all types of stuff. But I'm also a software engineer as well. So those that have kind of techie background, I'm your guy. So I'm more than happy to help or just lend an ear or any ideas you want to throw at me. But yeah, that's me.
Sweet, thank you, fellas. And I know Joe says she can't hop in. My baby girl just woke up, so she's making sure she's good to go. But she is our CHRO, our phenomenal CHRO, also my lovely wife. And of course, you can see we are a very close-knit team, from even just, friends who came through Morgan State together, from, myself, Jeff and Clay. And then Joe had attended Bowie as well. Clay had attended Bowie. And so, just HBCU founders, HBCU entrepreneurs who just wanted to see a change in the space, and we want to give back and make sure we can support you all. So we're excited to have you all here. So next, what I will do is pass it over to our cohort. For those who are here, of course, in order, feel free to hop in and introduce yourselves. I know everyone hasn't been able to make it in. I see Peter's coming in too, but we at least have Jalea, Jeremiah, Sarah, and then Peter's hopping in as well. I think Destiny and Rashad may not have been able to make it, but I think Rashad's co-founder might have been able to swap out. I think you are with BTE, right, Ty? Just to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. Yep. So we do have Ty on board. So we'll go through the line in order, and then I'll let you close it out, Ty. So feel free to hop in, guys. Introduce yourselves. I already told Brittany a bit about your businesses, so she's hyped, excited already, has people she wants to introduce you to. But I will pass it over to Jalea to kick us off and just tell us a little bit more about yourself, the HBCU you're representing, and then a one-liner or two-liner about Campus Connects.
Hi, my name is Julia Allen. I am a senior here at North State University. I'm an IT major as well as a student athlete on the bowling team. And my company is Campus Connects, which is basically a platform for college students to post services and products that they have to sell, where it's basically a place where students can find all the different needs they have on campus all in one place.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Jalea. Jeremiah, are you able to hop in and tell a bit more about Black Horizon?
Yes, yes. Hello, my name is Jeremiah Smith. I am the founder of Black Horizon and representing North Carolina A&T State University. I actually built out the esports program here, but looking to do so much more. Black Horizon is an organization primarily focused on increasing the amount of Black professionals within gaming and esports. And so that's where, a lot of our focus is, and we're even, spreading out into other markets across the country now, trying to see what we can make happen. So yeah, that's a bit about Black Horizon and about me.
Awesome. And next, we'll pass it over to Sarah.
Hi, everyone. My name's Sarah Noel. I'm a junior honors marketing major, economics minor at Howard University. And my business is Get Ready With Me. It's essentially a personalized product recommendation platform for hair and skincare products, as well as a beauty community for users to share reviews.
I love it. And next, I know you hopped in recently, Peter, but if you're able to hop in, feel free to tell a bit about Tycoon as well.
Yep, I'm here. I'll be on video in a moment. Nice to meet you. My name is Peter Ewell, grad from Morgan State University, class of 222. I'm currently doing my MBA at Southern New Hampshire. Have a very extreme passion for marketing, particularly in the entertainment field. Have had amazing experience with companies like the Walt Disney Company, Lionsgate, a handful of agencies, nonprofits, and more. And I'm the CEO and founder of Tycoon Sports, currently operating as one of the first Black name, image, and likeness marketing agencies, and then soon to be launching our AI platform that'll be centralizing everything NIL for student athletes. Thank you.
Good stuff. Great job, guys. And then lastly, we have Rashad and Ty. So either of you or both, feel free to hop in as well. Just, quick one-liner or two-liner about BTE Analytics and a bit about yourself.
Hey, yeah. BTA Analytics is focused on player tendencies, so we're looking at microdata and helping teams and players find insights. Right now, we're focused on basketball, but looking to move into other sports.
Awesome. Thank you, Ty. So, Brittany, as you can see, we got an all-star lineup. We don't take that word lightly. We got some amazing HBCU all-stars here today, and I'm sure your mind is already racing about some awesome people that you might be able to connect them to. And actually, I know Destiny just hopped in too. I know you, as I told you a bit about Measure Me, you said you got to get on Measure Me too. So I don't want to steal any thunder from Destiny when she's able to get in. She can tell a bit about Measure Me too. But I know we'll give you a quick second, Destiny. Let me know when you're available.
Hey, I'm here.
Sweet. Yeah, and feel free to just tell a bit about yourself, the HBCU you represent, and then maybe a one-liner or two-liner about Measure Me.
Hello, Brittany. Happy Friday. Thanks for taking the time to speak with everyone. I'm Destiny Wesley. I'm the founder of Measure Me. I just graduated from Howard University, and I have been working on the MVP of Measure Me being a platform that converts users' measurements across fashion brands so that they can, or you can, accurately understand what your size is and shop without, the inconvenience of returns.
I love it. Brittany says she needs it ASAP.
I was
Destiny.
gonna say I needed that last week when I had to sew my own dress because my big back wouldn't fit in.
Crazy. As y'all can see, Brittany is so fun. She is a ball of energy. She will have an awesome, awesome session for y'all today. So I appreciate the cohort hopping in, telling a bit about yourself. And so next, of course, I gotta introduce our MVP speaker of today with Secure the Bag Part 4. As I had shared with you all, of course, we have parts 1 through 3 in previous cohorts. So feel free to check out those videos, but she'll be talking about securing the bag, building personal credit to leverage business credit. Brittany is the CEO and founder of Crown Financials. She is probably one of the most phenomenal speakers I have ever seen. She spoke at our Black Commerce Conference for anybody that was there or heard of it. Our partnership with Howard and the PNC Center. We had that at the National Harbor in Maryland. And so our team ran the entire Emerging Entrepreneurs track. It was an entire track of like 10 plus workshops and panels. And even though some people, I've heard great things about so many of the other panels and workshops, but people kept saying, "Oh man, I love Brittany's because she's so engaging, she's so personable." When you talk about her background within finance, almost anything you want to know about finance and just elevating yourself, Brittany is here for you. So even after this call, if you want to dive into more and even have some consultations with her and even just get on board with her program, please don't hesitate to because she has a wealth of knowledge. When we were at Black Commerce. She talked about not being just a frugal founder, but an abundant founder, right? And so just having that abundance mindset and just being able to expand and just everything that you're going out for from a financial standpoint and just the smart routes of how to approach that. And so the dynamic session. So I'm excited for this one today. I will let her dive in and tell a bit more about herself too. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to the one, the only, no other, Brittany Greene. Show her some love, everybody.
Hey, hey, y'all. I see I am in the room with some powerhouses. I got a chance to learn a lot about you guys before we entered into the room. Hold on, let me get my screen shared here. So it is a true honor and a privilege. I know I'm here to educate, but you guys are educating me as well because, like I said, at the minute that I found out about what it is that you guys are doing, I said, "Oh, I got some folks that I can connect them with." So I took some notes on each one of you guys. Of course, I'm going to want to talk to you guys outside of this, so I'll share a way that we can stay connected so that, again, I can connect you with some guys who I know are needing either your services or are looking to partner and build a community in this nice ecosystem. So today we are going to be talking about securing the bag. For many of those who know me, I know this is your first introduction to me, but for those who know me, they know me as the Credit Crusader because I am known to help people increase their credit score anywhere from 50 to 300 points without having to use credit repair companies. And yes, we do everything organic. So no, I'm not going to have you purchasing no trade lines. No, I'm not going to make you no crazy statements that'll say, hey, I can get your credit score to an 850 in 90 days. It takes work, but the work is more so intentional and consistent work. So I'll show you how we do that. Right now, my team and I are on a mission to help over 200,000 college students graduate with excellent credit. And you guys will see why in a few, once we know my story just a little bit. So over the next 40 minutes, our focus is going to be all things personal credit, because one of the things that grinds my gears is how they target with predatory lending practices. They target us specifically because they know we're coming to college, and a lot of times us, and when I say us, Black folks, we're coming to college, and a lot of times our parents were not able to teach us about credit. In some instances, our parents were able to teach us some things, or we were able to learn some things in school. But for a majority of us, we were not privileged with this information. So I like to go ahead and give a deep dive of what is the baseline of credit. What can we actually use it for? Because I don't know about you guys, but drop a 1 in the chat if you got student loans. I'm a very interactive person, so drop a 1 in the chat. We're gonna talk some good stuff, right? Because again, I'm here for you guys. So let me know if you got student loans, because I want to share with you guys some things that you can actually do by leveraging your credit to make those student loans go bye-bye, right? We're going to talk about belief system. We're going to talk about behaviors, and we're going to talk about how you can build your score no matter the budget that you're going for. All right, boom, I see it. Okay, we all got some student loans in the chat. I'm seeing Clay, Jewel, Destiny, boom. Let me drop my 1 in there too, because I got some too, right? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself so that we are not total strangers. But first, I want to know from you guys, and you can take yourself off mute or you can put it in the chat. When was your first interaction with credit? Like, when did you first hear that credit existed? Was it your mom telling you don't get that credit card? Was it somebody telling you to, hey, make sure that you pay all your stuff on time? What were some of the things that you learned about credit, and when was your first interaction with it? And again, you can take yourself off mute or you can put it in the chat.
Yeah, you can hop in, Jalea. I saw you had your hand up.
So, one of my first interactions with credit was my dad. He actually had got me a credit card. He had me as a authorized user on one of his credit cards. And so basically he had helped build up my credit before I even got it. And then once I was able to get my credit card, then he was basically telling me, don't spend anything more than what you have. And then he was showing me how to do the payments and things like that. And then after that point, I was learning like how to check my credit score, like what to do to like help increase it, what were the things that would decrease and things like that.
Yes. Shout out to you, because you are getting an education that a lot of people are still not getting. So shout out to you. And I'm sorry, I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Is it Jalea?
Yes.
Perfect. Happy birthday, by the way, again.
Thank you.
So I'm super happy that some of y'all are, okay, wait, I see some more stuff in the chat. When I bought my first car, that's what Jeffrey said. Jeremiah said I was like 13-ish. I had to do personal finance as a part of Boy Scout. Yo, that is so dope. Let's go. We don't have Boy Scouts in Florida. Where are you from? Goodness. Or if we did, we didn't have it for Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts. They had the cookies though. They did have the cookies. Some of my friends who help people fix credit or used it for loans, that's what Peter say. I know that's right. PG County. Where is PG County? PG County sound like Florida. Am I tripping? Got my first credit card.
No, that's Maryland. That was where we had the Black Commerce Conference at. That was in PG.
Yeah, PG County is nowhere near like Florida, by the way.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do that. We had it. Y'all missed it. We had a whole "Where you from" conversation before.
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh man. Okay, we got our first credit card in college. Awesome. Well, let me tell y'all my first interaction with with credit. So besides my mom telling me don't do it, I went to St. Leo University. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, but I went to St. Leo University, and the first way that they got me, they said, hey, in exchange for this pizza box and this $500 credit card, you got to sign up for the credit card and we'll give you this pizza in exchange. As at the time, a broke college student, I was like, well, shoot, sign me up. What could go wrong? What I didn't realize is that that would come back to bite me in the tail because I didn't actually have the proper education on how to manage it. So much so that when I graduated, I spent all this time doing internships and undergraduate and graduate studies. This was prior to me even knowing anything really about entrepreneurship. I mean, I was a hustler. I did nails in college. I mean, I did it all in college, okay? Hair, nails. I was a loctician. I still am, right? I didn't know about full-on entrepreneurship. I was just hustling. But when it was time for me to get my big girl corporate position, I was denied a job because of my credit based on decisions that I made in college. So I started a side hustle because, again, all I knew about was hustling. And I became what was called an entrepreneur, which I was starting to understand credit, building up my own credit so that I could get a better position. Well, in 2018, I lost that, little basic job that I had, and I became a full-time entrepreneur. But not before I lost everything, went broke, and couldn't even qualify for business credit. And at that point, I'm like, man, Brittany, you are supposed to be the credit girl and you're suffering yourself. So I said, let me take them on a journey with me, rebuild my own file and make it public so that they can understand where I went from and I can help them along the way. So from 2018 to currently, I've been a full-time entrepreneur, thriving with many successes and failures. But oftentimes, I would feel like this. Now, I don't know about you guys, but as a founder, we have so many things that we're facing. And sometimes, I don't know about y'all. Y'all can let me know by dropping a 1 in the chat. Do you ever feel like, come on, man, why am I still doing this? What's going on? Yeah, okay, I see them ones jumping in the chat. Well, I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter how far you go in the game, you will still always ask yourself, am I crazy for still doing this? But I want to give you guys a little bit of some ease to this by working in a different strategy. And the way that we're going to do that is by avoiding this big mistake right here, which is going directly to the old mindset or the old way of doing things of I just got to make the money real quick. I got to hustle real hard. I got to make the money. And everything is going to be okay. Well, I'm here to tell you that that does not correct the foundation. In fact, if you continue doing things out of strategy and out of order, you'll tend to see yourself always asking yourself, dang, am I crazy for still believing I can do this? Am I crazy for still going through this when the world or when so many things feel like they're against me as a founder who just wants to come out here and make a change when no one is listening, right? How can we avoid this biggest mistake? We can do that with strategy and in intentional order. So the things that I teach about here today within credit, there's going to be a basic principle that you can apply to every single subject that you're going to learn moving forward, right? And the way that we do that is through this formula. Credit basics, of course, today, because that's what we're talking about, which is credit basics. But I want you guys to remember this formula and go ahead and take a screenshot. Had to make sure I wasn't looking crazy in the screenshot, but go ahead and take a screenshot because what's going to happen is this part right up here, you're going to interchange that based on whatever subject it is that you're learning the core foundation of whatever that topic is, and then we'll do these next couple of things. We're going to connect our belief system because here's the thing. I don't know about you guys, but drop a 1 in the chat if when you grew up, you may have heard, if it wasn't your direct family, but maybe the community around you saying, oh, I can't afford this. Oh, I'm not good enough. Or, oh my goodness, this is too expensive. Oh, I see them ones popping in the chat, right? So a lot of times we'll now act in a certain behavior that reflects those belief systems that are just simply not true, right? So what we want to do is connect our belief system to our new goals. Because here's the thing, as you begin and continue to elevate as a founder, because sometimes, we working with a $200,000 budget, right? But what happens when you start working with millions, 1.5 million, 2.5 million, right? What happens when you go to those different things? That requires a new belief system. So connecting your belief system to that goal. The next thing we're going to want to do for that formula to avoid or minimize how many times we say, am I crazy for sticking this through, is correcting our behaviors. Some of those things that were learned yet may be harmful because, again, when we were growing up, we were just going about it, right? We didn't know What we didn't know that some of these things will be harmful when we grow up, but it is our responsibility now to correct those behaviors so that we can continue to soar, right? So correct any of those behaviors that may be keeping you back. And then the last thing is being able to take action no matter where you are in a financial space. So it doesn't matter if you're starting with $0 and just your mind, $0 and just YouTube, or maybe some borrowed dollars, right? It doesn't matter where you're starting from. You got to be able to coordinate a budget or an allocation plan wherever you're starting from. This is the formula that I take my clients through that helps them get to the 800 credit scores organically. This is what I help my clients see that gets them to the 750 plus, where they're able to maintain and coast in that area and then get approved for business credit and business funding. Because while, don't get me wrong, venture capital is amazing. You guys are in such an amazing position while being able to be here. You want to make sure that you have access to different things if you need them. The worst thing that you want to do is be like me in 2018 with my back against the wall, trying to figure out how we're going to make this thing shake, right? So that's what we want to do. From there, by implementing that system, I've been able to successfully educate thousands of people on how to increase their credit score. Been able to create programs that have helped people not only achieve 700 and 800 credit scores, but be able to maintain it. All of my failures, I now speak about on college campuses or events just like this so that I can continue to help people. I want to get people to the $2 million in funding mark, right? I want to be able to help you guys to the next level. I want y'all to be able to walk away from this conversation. If you learn nothing else, you say, man, she had the energy and she taught me this formula and I'm going to take it and I'm going to apply it in every space. I want you to be able to hear me in your sleep while them dollars is chinging in your bank account because you took a different approach from what you learned before. So let's go over some of the actual credit basics. Now, the good thing is that many of you already know a lot about credit just because, you know, you've had people in your surrounding community that have been helping you by, oh man, I kid you not, that putting someone on as an authorized user and actually helping them build it up. That is what I want us all to experience, right? But I've had some clients or some students that are like, man, I'm actually started from a deficit. In fact, my family got something on my credit report. They opened up a light bill, never paid it, and now my credit score is shot. That's the type of things that I've heard. So the fact that you guys give a round of applause for yourself for being so ahead of the game already, right? So, but we're going to still talk about some credit basics because I like to go down to the nitty gritty because, hey, I might learn you something. So first and foremost, of course, we know what credit is. It's the ability to borrow money or access goods with the understanding that you're going to pay back later. Now, we know that credit is often used for getting an apartment, home, cars, electricities, insurance, and then, of course, employment. Now, here's the thing. A lot of times, they're presenting credit to us as a way to just get liabilities. However, there are so many amazing things that you can actually do with credit, with the first being business credit. Of course, having good behaviors with your personal credit and having good behaviors and checking it right now. Again, remember, correcting those behaviors, doing that now, it then transfers over in the way that you manage your business finances. So what I will say is that none of us are perfect, not even me, and that's okay. But the thing that we want to make sure that we're consistent in doing is assessing where we are so that we can know where we're going or know how far we're going. So when it comes down to business credit and business funding, this is an alternative option for you guys outside of venture capital that allows you to, again, have some money sitting somewhere. You always want to have some money sitting somewhere. I don't know about you, but I love having money stowed away for not a rainy day, but for a good day, right? I don't like the concept of have money set aside for a rainy day. I like money set aside for a good day. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to have some money just set aside for a good day. You see, we stacking over here, baby, right? We got the dollar bills right over here. That's how we got to do it, right? Oh, come on, Air Day. That's the Brittany bucks. I know that's right. So having business credit or business funding allows you to be what they say more attractive when lenders or even when you're looking for venture capital to look more appealing to them because they see, all right, this person got some stuff stowed away. We like that, right? In other instances, people we use, and I don't always recommend this because, again, discipline is key, but I got some folks who will use their personal credit to start their wealth building journey. But they have a plan of action steps. They got a plan to say, hey, I'm gonna just take this right here and I'm gonna flip it, right? I'm gonna flip it, and then I'm gonna take this and migrate it into business credit. That takes a well thought out strategy, but it is not exempt. And one of my favorite concepts is called velocity banking. Drop a 1 in the chat if you've ever heard of velocity banking, and drop a 2 in the chat if you've never heard of velocity banking. Okay, Peter said 2. Okay, Jeremiah said 2. Jalea said 2. Velocity banking is a extremely amazing concept that allows you to pay off student loans, car loans, home loans, venture loans in 10 years or less by leveraging your personal credit. Now, this is a strategy that the wealthy use, and a lot of times they don't tell you about it, but I'm here to tell you about it. I got a guy, his name is Denzel Rodriguez, and I worked with him for many years, prepping his clients to get ready for what's called velocity banking. And this allows you to set your credit up in such a way where you're approved for a large number of funding. And again, I'm not the expert on velocity banking, but you're basically allocating personal credit funds into your debt payoff strategy, and it knocks it out quicker. The best way that I can say it is that when you're using your personal credit to then leverage and pay off a lot of that large debt, you're knocking out a lot of that interest, which he has a whole chart and a whole graph. Again, I'll send you guys his, I'll write that down just so I don't forget. I'll send you his YouTube channel so that you can actually get a visualization of how he breaks that down. But this is a strategy that you can incorporate into your business, even from a business credit standpoint or personal credit standpoint, to be able to pay off large amounts of debt. Because here's the thing, the more that debt's hanging over your head, the more that pressure that we feel as a founder to produce. And we're walking into a time where we're not going to be judged on our productivity. We're going to be judged on our ability to create and show up and connect and collaborate. That's going to be how we make that money and produce without our hard work of hustling, stay up 24/7, knock it out, no sleep, no food. I know y'all heard that before, where they like, you got to hustle, you got to stay in the game. Yeah, we're not doing that, right? We have a new way of where we're going to make things happen. So you're going to want to be positioned for that. So my guy can help you with that. Now, why aren't burn out quick? Woo! Honey, if y'all knew the story of me going from being on top of the world to sleeping on the couch cushion, from burnout alone, that's why we're not going to go down that route, right? So yes, we're going to make sure that we're shifting and using the resources available to us. Jalea, I love that. So this is why people tend to not see results when it comes down to building credit. They oftentimes have a fixed mindset, and we don't have that here. As founders, we already ahead of the game because we already have this vision that we saw in our head that we're crazy enough to follow. So we're not in the fixed mindset space, right? But a lot of times people don't see results is because of lack of education, maybe at home or in school. Some of those scams that we see on Instagram, those guarantees that I was telling you about, where they were like, oh, in 90 days, I get you to an 800 credit score. Run and run fast. Lack of knowledge for what someone actually needs. Because here's the thing, there's no cookie cutter approach to how to build up someone's credit. There is a formula, and you must abide by that formula as it goes, as it pertains to your particular file. But there is no one size fits all approach. And I'll show you guys how to get that. Having the same old habits or a lack of patience for the process. Look, I see Destiny say running. What the song is on TikTok? You ain't keep it P? Bet. Stand on that and then they zoom. That's what that little running emoji look like. Yeah, I'm hip, y'all. All right. So now we're going to get into the nitty gritty, and I'm going to give you guys some information. You guys can feel free to screenshot. I know this is recorded. Keontae, you can let me know. Is this going out in a link to them?
Yeah, yep. I'll send it out in a link too, so y'all will have all access to it.
Perfect. So y'all can take a screenshot while I'm here, or take a screenshot when it come back. Don't have me out here looking crazy now. I love y'all. All right. So let's talk about the deep dive of credit education from a deep perspective. So now we're all familiar with the 3 credit bureaus: TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Those are the top three credit bureaus that are out there. Well, you have two types of scoring models, FICO and Vantage. Drop a 1 in the chat if you've ever heard of Credit Karma and that somebody has told you don't use Credit Karma because the scores are whack. Yeah, I know. Drop in the chat for me, what are some of the credit monitoring sites that you guys may be using? I know we got Credit Karma out there. We got Credit Sesame, IQ, Identity IQ. We got Experian. Oh, I love Experian. What are some ones, if you guys are monitoring your credit report, that you guys are using? Because I'm going to give you guys some shocking information. Credit Karma, perfect. I love it. Those two are actually my favorite, Experian and Credit Karma, but for a couple different reasons. Reason being is because FICO and Vantage are two different types of scoring models. However, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax both report to FICO scores and Vantage scores. I see Destiny say Credit Union and Experian. I thought they all show your same score. Oh, I love this. Oh, yes and no. Yes and no. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm getting there. Ooh, they got me excited. I don't know if y'all know, but I've been in this industry since 2017, and I am super passionate when it comes to credit scores. All right, so let me stay on track and let me not get too excited. So FICO and Vantage both have reportings from TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. There's only a difference in calculation. Both scores are very important, right? Very important, but they are scored just a little bit differently, and we'll go into that. Now, each scoring model has different scoring types. Every consumer has up to, now Destiny, this is coming to you to what you just said here about, I thought they all show you your same score. Each consumer has up to 28 credit scores. Yes. Drop a 1 in the chat if you knew that. Drop a 2 in the chat if you did not. Each consumer, which is me, which is you, can have up to 28 credit scores. Now that varies based on the type of accounts that you have out. So say, for example, if I've never had a mortgage loan or if I've never had a car loan, well, I may not have that type of score on my credit report. But if I've had student loans, car loans, home loans, all those different things, there may be a score that's generated out there for me to be able to see that. So the good thing is that Experian reports your FICO scores. Credit Karma shows your Vantage scores. We're going to go into a deep dive of that in a second. Jalea said, those are the numbers they use to average your actual score, and then they take the average for you when you apply for stuff. True, and, oh, okay, you were asking. Yes and no. The reason why I say yes and no is because when they first started off with credit scores, FICO was the only model that was out there. So they generated different scoring types, like FICO 2, FICO 5, FICO 3, FICO 8, FICO 10T, all these different types of scores based on different things that you'll do. So you have auto scores, home scores, banking scores, insurance scores. You have all these different types of scores out there based on the activity that you produce as a consumer and what you may have or may not have financed, right? So that's kind of how they generate those different scores. But it's not that they're necessarily giving you an average per se. They're combining different components of your credit score and putting it in like a formula and generating a score. That's pretty much how they do that. So that's where they get, again, they give you up to 28 based on what you have, but you may not have all 28 based on, again, whether or not you have had school, because some people have never had student loans. So they may not even have a certain type of banking score, right? So some scores are not generated until you have some skin in the game. But the longer that you're out there, the better that, the more scores that you'll have. And I'll show you how to access those. So let's break it down in an even more or deeper format. Now you have, again, FICO and Vantage. FICO was the originator. FICO was the big brother. 90% of lenders are checking this score. So the best place to be able to access this for free is on Experian.com. You can also upgrade on Experian.com to see all of your 3 traditional scores, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. But remember those up to 28 scores I was telling you about? You can also see that on Experian as well. I have a program called Monitoring Mastery, and I'll give you guys a special offer today for being able to access that. But it shows you how to monitor both your FICO credit report and your Vantage credit report, and how to access and see all 28 or up to 28 of those scores that you currently have access to. But for the most part, just know that you can actually see it on Experian.com. The reason why I was doing that shameless plug is because there's an actual visual within a workbook that shows you, okay, press this button, scroll down, see here. This is where you can access that. Okay. Now, Vantage is the newer person to the game. That's like the little sis, right? 10% of lenders are checking to see this particular score. Now, what's crazy is that only being that 10% of lenders actually check this credit score, a lot of the sites that you see that want you to pay for your credit score are only showing you your Vantage scores. And I don't like that. If you're going to pay for scores, pay for FICO. But if you want free scores, go look on Credit Karma. They're going to show you your TransUnion and your Equifax score to be able to see where that is from a Vantage perspective. Now, 10% does not sound like a lot of people, but when you're thinking of the millions of lenders that are out there, 10% then becomes to be a big number. So don't worry. The strategy that I'm going to show you guys today is going to help you balance and harmonize these scores. But again, I wanted to make sure that we're clear. Both of these scores are equally important. So we're going to make sure that we're applying that formula to make sure, again, that we balance out and harmonize these scores as much as possible. There's only a difference in how they're calculated. All right. So drop a 1 in the chat if this is helpful, if you understand, and drop a 2 in the chat if you have a question or if it's something you need me to do a deeper dive in. Yeah, we got some. This is my subject right here. This is what we love. Question. You can feel free to come off mute and ask me a question.
So if the Vantage credit score is only 10% of what lenders check, what is the importance of like knowing what your Vantage score is versus your FICO?
So the thing is that you want to know both of them. So of course, sign up for both Experian and Credit Karma, right? So that you can be able to monitor both, especially with the whole data breach that happened with 2.9 million people. You definitely want to be able to keep up to date with both. But if I'm understanding your question correctly, you're saying that if only 10% of lenders are checking this score, should we or why should we view both? Is that what you're asking? Okay. So you, of course, want to see both because, again, 10%, while it sounds like a low number, there are millions of lenders out there between car lenders, home lenders, mortgage lenders, banking lenders. There are so many out there. So when you're considering 10% of a million, that's thousands of lenders who are actually looking at the Vantage report to make a approval decision. So you definitely want to have a knowledge of both. But here's the thing. Most of these sites that advertise your credit scores, they're only showing Vantage. You want to know both. But the formula that we're going to put in a few slides, that will help harmonize both of the scores to where they look the same. Because I'll be honest with you, it tends to be very rare that you'll see the score be the exact same across the board. But you should not see 100 to 200 point difference across your different credit reports. That's why a lot of people were thinking that Credit Karma was a scam, because there was such a difference in their score between Vantage and FICO, where they would get on Credit Karma and see they had like a 730, but then they would go to the dealership and really see that they had like a 690. So it was like a huge difference. Well, being able to monitor both and applying the formula that we'll talk about in a few slides will help to bring it to a nice harmonized area, so where it shouldn't be too far off. It should be like maybe 10 to 15 points. But of course, if you have like negative items, like collection items or things on there, that's when you'll tend to see a big difference. Or if you have like a utilization, which is like meaning your credit cards are like maxed out, that's when you'll tend to see a huge difference in between the two as well. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now I want to hear from everybody else. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're clear, and a 2 if maybe you have some questions. And no question is dumb. There's no question that is out of the pocket. I kid you not. They built this system for us to be confused. They keep editing the system for us to remain confused. So I want to make sure that, again, no question is out of bounds, even if you want to put it in a private chat. If you don't want to have it out there, no problem. Okay, perfect. I see some ones. Okay, so good. We on the point. All right. So now let's talk about, now that we got the credit basics out the way, now that we understand the foundational approach, let's start talking about some of the beliefs. Now, a lot of times people aren't seeing the results to their credit score because when a little challenge happens, when they start building their actual credit score, or when they start their credit building journey, a lot of times something happens. There's a change in income. Someone gets pregnant. There's a flat tire. There's an emergency expense. There is something that throws them off the game. But as founders, we know when something happens, that's just an opportunity for us to be able to navigate and get back in the game. So we want to make sure that we're addressing those limiting beliefs because they show up in many forms and can restrict you from getting where you need to be. Now, some of those limiting beliefs in the credit industry is, I need a lot of money to build good credit, or one mistake will ruin my credit forever. I don't need credit if I can pay for everything in cash, or only people with high incomes can have good credit. I'm here to tell you that all of these things are a lie. Somebody say, Destiny say, I have a question about safes. Is this off topic? What's safes? What's safes? Talk to me. You can come off mute.
Is she talking about safe like VC, like super agreed future equity? Is she talking about like that? Like that type of safe?
Yeah, I think so. We probably won't discuss that in detail for this session, Destiny, but we'll probably send some more out before the end of the cohort for sure.
Yeah, and I can definitely break that down if you want to talk to me afterwards or anything like that. I can break down safes and like how that works.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm coming too. I'm coming too because I need to know what safes are.
We got you. We'll drop it in there for you too.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, they can get complex, but it's specifically for just like different equity based, just funding through your business. But we'll dive more to that on another session too.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, send me the Zoom link to that one.
Yeah, I got you.
Like that. Awesome. So what I want to say is, because I said that all of those limiting beliefs are a lie, I want you guys to, even when the road gets tough as a founder, understand that there is always space for you to thrive. So I know we are all on mute right now, but say this to yourself. There is space for me to thrive. And if you feel like you got the Twitter fingers, type it in the chat. There is space for me to thrive, because here's the thing. When you affirm it, that's when you put it out there that it's got to happen no matter what. So as the road gets tough, remember, because here's the thing. A lot of people don't finish their credit journey, not because they don't got the money, not because the strategy ain't fire, because that strategy fire, right? But it's because of those limiting beliefs that get in their head when things get a little bit difficult. So there is space for me to thrive. Come on, I see it in the chat. Thank you for your participation. So the first thing is committing to a new belief system. Here's the thing. When it's time for you to get to the next level, I need you to first identify, not the result, right? Not the process. I want you to identify what you want to experience. What would make you feel most fulfilled? Because here's the thing. It has to be unique to you. So as you're building out your credit journey, this is what I take my clients through. You have to first identify, what do you want to experience? Everybody doesn't want the 850. Some people just want to get their credit score up high enough to where they can get that extra capital to have in their pocket, just to get to the business funding, because they know that's where the real bread is. That's where the real, what they call it now, money. That's where it is, right? So identify for you what's unique and authentic to you. What do you want to experience? Then identify someone who has what you want and assess how they think, speak, and what they entertain, so that you can do that same thing. Everything is all about embodiment. Everything is all about embodiment. The same thing goes for the 850 credit score. Now, I don't know about y'all, but you can put your goal in the chat. If it's 850 me, put 850 in the chat. If it's business funding, put business funding in the chat. If it's, hey, I just need some extra capital, put capital or money in the chat. I need to see what this is so that we can identify what it is that we want to experience. Because here's the thing. You know how the algorithm works? The minute that we've identified what it is that we want, we're going to start seeing evidence of that coming our way. So now we want to start seeing and evaluating the people around us. Are y'all authentic to me and where I want to go? And if you are, Cool. Let me start seeing, how is it that you think? What is it that you're reading? What is it that you're listening to? And start doing that. That is the quickest way to align you with your goals. Again, we are out of the era of hard work. We are in the era of smart work and some intentional action. Just because we doing smart work don't mean we ain't got action to take, right? We got intentional action, but we are out of the era of hard work. So we want to make sure that what we're doing is aligning. So the first thing that we can do is commit to a belief system. Now, this list is going to grow. So I'll have you screenshot it at the end. Okay, I see Ty say business funding and extra capital. I see Jalea saying business funding and extra capital. That's what I'm talking about. Clay say business funding. Keontae say 850 in business funding. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Now let's talk about these behaviors, because this is where we get into the bread, the meat, the potatoes, the collard greens, the yams, the cornbread. This is where we get into that strategy, because everything is about our habits. It's not about what we do one time. It's about what we do consistently. It's about what we do consistently. So this is the award-winning strategy that has gotten my clients to 700, gotten them approved for thousands of dollars of business funding, gotten them approved for that dream home, that dream car, that capital, so that they can now participate in velocity banking. This is what they did. Number one, get over the fear and looking at their credit report. Now you ain't got no choice. With that 2.9 million people, which is us, they got our information hacked. We want to make sure that we're monitoring our credit reports like a hawk monthly. Get those alerts sent to your email. In fact, I need y'all to freeze your credit reports when you're not in a building phase. When you're not in the building phase, if you're not trying to get approved for anything, freeze that credit report. Matter of fact, let me write that down so that I can send that to Keontae so that he can send you the information on how to freeze your credit report. Being that if you've already been working so hard to build out what you needed to build out, the last thing that you want is somebody dusty mind coming in and taking off your hard work. So we're going to make sure that we're protecting it. But the first part is getting over the fear and looking at your report on a consistent basis. Now, I am going to give a cheat sheet that has this as well with some extra details, because I got what's called pro tips and some accounts that you guys can start building with if you have not already started. But the good thing is that most of you guys have already started, but just some things to bulk out the file. So I'm writing that down as well, so I know exactly what all to send to Keontae, because I'm about to give some gems. So if you ain't been taking notes, I'm gonna give you a second to get your paper and your pen and drop a 1 in the chat when you're ready, because now this is my field. This is what I like to do. So drop a 1 in the chat when you got your pen and you got your paper, because we're about to give some pro tips. Ooh, come on, emoji. Come on, emoji. Matter of fact, let me drop my 1 in the chat, because I'm just as involved as y'all. Perfect. All right. So the next thing is going to be payment history. This is about 35% of your score, depending on which version you're looking at, whether you're looking at Vantage or you're looking at FICO. Now, Vantage tends to float around from 31 to 32% when it comes down to payment history. Again, this is where it's just a difference in calculation and to how they build up your score. But if you follow the FICO model, your Vantage will be happy, I promise. So, payment history. This is the gem. Pay every time, on time. I know y'all like, Brittany, duh. Here it is. Communicate when you can't. In 2018, before I lost everything, the thing that saved me was my ability to communicate with my lenders. Because here was the thing. They had programs in place in the instance that I fell ill or the instance that my income changed that allowed me to save my credit score. Because here's the thing. What I've seen when it comes down to late payments, one late payment, I've seen drop someone 165 points. And it takes about 6 to 9 months to rebuild. Yes, to rebuild after that negative payment hits. But the way that they could have easily saved that is by communicating with their creditors ahead of time. Now, here's the thing. Don't communicate with them when you need them. Make it a plan that if you have credit cards and loan accounts right now, make it your business to contact them and find out, hey, do y'all have a protection program in the instance that, something happens to my income or I fall ill? Find that out now. Here's why. Because one or two things will happen. You'll either find out that that company has your back, and you'll find out that, hey, what action steps do I need to take in order to take advantage of this program? You'll find that out ahead of time, because some of these protection programs, you have to sign up for it now. They don't advertise it, but you want to sign up for it now so that if you ever need it, it's already ready and set to go. In some instances, they'll just say, hey, just call me if anything happens, you'll be good to go. But the second thing that this tells you is, if a company does not have your back, what happens in that instance? Meaning, if anything happens to your income, you fall ill, you know the first company you want to pay off, because, hey, the companies that got your back, you're going to call in and you're going to get them systems or those protection plans in place right away. But the ones that don't got your back, you know those are going to be the first ones that you pay off if you can, because you want to save your credit score as much as you possibly can. Okay? So the main thing is pay every time on time, but communicate when you can. And the best pro tip that I can give you is to call them now, find out what they have, start your spreadsheet that allows you to see, y'all got me? Cool. Y'all don't got me? Cool. I know who don't got my back. And you know those are the ones you're going to want to leave alone. All right? The next thing is a healthy credit usage strategy. This is key. Now, this tends to be about 30% of your actual credit scoring. Like what they use in that formula, 30% is what they're looking at. But we're scholars. We're founders. Shoot, we cream of the crop. We're going to take it the extra mile. So when it comes down to having a healthy credit usage strategy, when you have a credit card, they're reporting your activity every single month. Now, this pro tip is for credit cards and credit cards only. A lot of times when it comes down to loans, they just want you to pay on time. And in some instances, they will not let you even pay extra. But when it comes down to your credit cards, the one thing that you can ask when you call them to find out about them protection programs, you want to call them and say, hey, when is my reporting date? Meaning, when do you guys report to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian? When you identify that, honey, you are putting yourself 10 steps ahead. Now, I say use the universal language of when is the reporting date, because it varies from company to company in the verbiage they use. Some of them use the statement date. Some of them say, oh, your reporting period. So the best way to say it is, hey, my next question is, now that I know if I got a protection program or not, when do you guys report to the credit bureaus? And they'll let you know that. So that by that particular date, you're making sure that, no, it's not at 30%. Your credit usage is not at 30%, right? That's too high. In fact, I want us to keep it at 10% or lower. And the best way to be able to do that is because here's the thing, your personal credit should only be the door, should only be the leverage of access. You should not be doing everything in your personal credit. You should only be building up your personal credit so that you can leverage it through business credit, through velocity banking, which is a very, very intricate strategy, or other usages. But it should not be your primary use. That's how you get that's how you get yourself backed into a corner, right? So you want to make sure that, hey, when I identify when that reporting date is, I'm going to make sure that what's reporting is a 10% balance or less. You do not want it to be at zero, okay? 10% or less. So let's say, for example, if you got a $500 card limit, you want to make sure that by the time it's reporting to the bureaus, you have no more than a $50 balance on that particular card. Okay, drop a 1 in the chat if that makes sense before I go on to my next point about the healthy credit usage strategy. And drop a 2 if we need to make it do what it do. I got you. I'm going to give y'all a way to be able to connect with me. All right. Now, when it comes down to that strategy, I'm glad that we all on the same page. When it comes down to that strategy, the best way to do it is to take an expense that is fixed. This is the only time that I want you to have fixed in your mindset, is a fixed expense that you use on a monthly basis. It could be a small gym membership. It can be a phone bill, something that does not change or fluctuate on a month-to-month basis. And you want to make sure that that is what you're using your credit card for. Not food, not gas, not all the extra things, just one specific bill. Especially do this strategy for 6 months to a year. Consistency, because that's where we go into point number 4. They don't want to see what you do on a one-time basis. That was back in the day in 1984. Now they want to see in 2024, what have you been doing? Well, they have it, it's called trended data. What have you been doing over the last 6 to 12 months? That's what they're grading you off of. That's what they're determining whether or not they're going to give you that approval for. Okay? So being consistent. The next is keeping a clean file. Again, in the monitoring mastery workshop, it's a workshop and workbook. It shows you how to monitor your report so you can see any errors, so that you can get those out of there as quickly as possible. You can get those things resolved. It shows you how to look for things like partial data matching. So maybe someone who has the same name as you, right? Who now their information is on your credit report. You want to be able to keep a clean file, because the cleaner you keep your file and the longer that you keep your file clean, the better your credit score and the better and the bigger your score will get. And the last thing or piece to this formula is time. You gotta, again, when I say consistent, they want to see what you've done over time. I know people with a 750 credit score that get denied just because their accounts are too new and they're trying to build, right? So we want to have skin in the game, just like relationships, right? I ain't marrying no man, and I just, well, spontaneity, right? But outside of spontaneousness, relationships take time to build. Think of your credit report as a relationship. All right. So I want you guys to say this with yourself. My habits align with the best version of myself, because you're going to keep growing. You're going to keep evolving. So you want your habits to align with that. Again, these principles, what I'm teaching you is the credit game. But again, commit to a belief system. You got to connect to it. You got to be that person. You got to be there. Then you want to align your habits to say, yeah, I'm that girl. I'm that guy. I'm doing what it do. That's how you continue to evolve. This is not just a credit lesson. This is a life lesson, especially as a founder, because I've been where you guys are. I'm still where you guys are in certain ways. So remember, I told y'all this list was going to add on. So remember, we're adopting habits and behaviors that align with our goals, and we're continuously assessing and adjusting accordingly. Remember, failure is important just as much as success. All data is important. It allows us to be able to interpret where we are so we know where we're going. Drop a 1 in the chat if this is juicy, if this is good. Drop a 1 in the chat. I ain't even going to give you a second option because I know it's juicy. I know it's good. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so let's talk about how to build our scores at any income level. Again, take these same tactics. All right, I see a question. What's going on, Jalea?
So, I had a question about, so I know like for each of your credit cards there is a utilization rate, like where you want to stay under 30 and things like that. But what do you want your revolving utilization to be? Because I'm thinking revolving is like the combination of all your credit cards, right?
It's your credit cards. Yes, credit cards and credit cards only. 10% or below.
So like the revolving like 10% below?
10% or below. And the way to be able to do that is through fixed expenses. So if you're not at a 10% space right now, if you're already like in the 30, 40, 50s, or even 100s, you're going to want to focus on driving the debt down to zero first before you implement the 10% strategy, right? So drive your whatever amount that you have on your credit cards, drive it down to zero first, according to your reporting date. Do it in increments. So say, for example, if I'm at 50% utilization, I'm going to take the next 3 months to get myself down to zero, right? I'm going to take the next 3 reporting dates to get my credit utilization down to 0%. If you've never heard of the snowball method, that is a very good method for you to be able to line up your debt and get it knocked down as quickly as possible. My recommendation is do it in increments. This way it can report as going down every single month, and it gives you more points. That's clear?
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. And I'll give you guys the opportunity for us to be able to build out your own personal strategy. I'll give you guys access to my calendar where you can book a strategy session, and we'll sit for an hour, look through your entire credit report from payment history all the way down to negative items, and like actually put out a plan of action steps that you may need to take personally. Okay. But let's talk about how to get this based on budget. All right. So budget is nothing but allocation. I don't even like the word budget, but it fit in my B theme, so I put it there, right? But it's nothing but a process of allocating or distributing things in a certain manner. When it comes down to budgeting, especially in the credit realm, depending on how much money you're working with, you're going to be maybe allocating more time or energy if you don't necessarily have a lot of money to allocate. Or if you got a lot of money to allocate, then hey, you may not have as much time or energy that you're expending into your credit building journey. There will still be any, action that you have to take. However, leveraging your resources allows you to then be able to weigh that out. Jalea say, how exactly should you create a budget if you have inconsistent income? Oh, this is my question, girl. This is where time, energy, money, and resources come to be. Because I still don't have this down to a science as a founder, because I will say 2024 took a really deep hit on a lot of businesses that thrive on a natural. Like our necessity brands have even taken some hits. So when it comes down to budgeting, I do everything based on percentages rather than a certain amount if it's inconsistent. If I know that money is still coming in, I'm going to do it in percentages. And then again, I always stow things away for a good day. I have an account that we just don't even touch. That is where you want to stack some money for those good days, or, how they like to say rainy days. I don't like to say rainy days. Or being able to know and tap into resources. I'm about to show you how in a second. So say, for example, you're going on a low investment where you're coming out to be, now, again, this is all credit structured, but take these same principles and apply it even in other areas of your business. So when it comes down to low investment, or low monetary investment, you may have a higher time investment. Okay. No worry, Peter. We had a good space. We got through a lot of the bulk. So you good. And then we got the replay. So when it comes to having a low cost or a low monetary investment, you may have a higher time investment. This is where you now need to use and leverage YouTube University, Google College, TikTok Trade School, right? You want to tap into those different resources to give yourself. Now, of course, fact check everything, okay? Even what I'm telling you today. I've been in this industry for this long, but learn me something. Things are changing constantly. So always fact check. So you can look on YouTube and do self-education. This is more so the do it yourself. As it pertains to credit, I have a book on Amazon called A to Z Credit. It gives you, let's say, for example, if your all you can invest is about $50 to $60 in your education around credit. Well, go ahead to Amazon, get the A to Z Credit book, and don't worry, I got all the links for you, so you don't even have to worry about going. But go there, grab that, and it'll give you the foundational principles outside of what we talked about today. It gives you extra education of what you can learn about when it comes down to building credit. If you have negative items and maybe disputing is something that you need to do, this book is something that I recommend. Her name is Nativia. I think I'm saying her name right. She is an all-star when it comes to facing debt collectors head on and giving you letters that you can use to begin your dispute process if you have negative items. So you can find that book on Amazon as well. Of course, utilizing free monitoring systems like Credit Karma and Experian.com, the free versions, as you're getting started until you can build your resource pool up. Okay? But this gives you a way to get some skin in the game with a low investment. Because here's the thing, you are going to have to invest something, whether it's your time or $50 to $100 on learning the education. Because it's one thing to hear it for an hour here, but it's another thing to be able to learn it on your own and re-hit that information over and over again until it sticks, right? Now, let's just say that you have the ability to do a mid-level investment. All right, you got some money, maybe around like $100 to $500 that you can invest into your credit education. Again, YouTube, you always want to fact check, right? So find you a coach. I'm on YouTube. We got folks on TikTok. You'll be able to have me on Instagram. Find some folks who are dropping nuggets that resonates with your soul. Credit coaching or courses. I have a program called Monitor and Mastery. You may have heard me talk about it a little bit before, but this helps you to understand all of the different charts and different things that are happening with your credit report so that you're not in the blind. Especially if you're hiring somebody to help you, you want to know almost not almost as much as they know, but you want to know a good percentage of what they know so that if they're messing you over, you can be able to call their bluff quickly. All right. Credit on Fire has a dispute service that is phenomenal. I'm actually leaving the dispute game, which is why I'm giving y'all other resources. As of 9/1, this Sunday, I am no longer taking one-on-one clientele. I will be, because I'm now focused on putting the curriculum in different schools. But here is a valuable resource, Credit on Fire. If you're not able to get started with me by 9/1, then hey, there's someone else out there that you can actually get with that has a phenomenal service that I've actually worked with myself. And again, free or paid monitoring system. And lastly, if you are at a high level investment of monetary, no worries, Ty, I'll talk to you soon. Absolutely. Don't worry, you'll have my information to be able to catch up with me because I got to talk to you for sure. I got some folks for you. All right. So when it comes to, see a typo, that's all right. When it comes to high level investment, meaning, hey, I got a little bit more bread to put up. So I'm gonna still keep my education, right? Because I need to know what the other folks know. But I may be able to do a one-on-one session with Britt, right? I may be able to take 350 and have a 1 hour strategy session and break down and get a clear-cut strategy, know what I need, and walk out the door and take action immediately. Or I may have the money to invest in the Credit on Fire program where they're helping me. Now I have someone to help me with my letters. Now I have someone to help me and coach me and keep me accountable on this particular process. All right. So as we close out, I want you guys to make sure that you're taking a screenshot of this as well, because this is what closes the gap. No matter where you are at any income level, there are resources for you, especially where things have been inconsistent. One of the things as a founder that we become so good at is being resourceful. There are local communities that have free resources. There are TikTok, there's your Instagrams, your YouTubes, things that are at your local and community space that can help you at any time. Even when it comes to bill assistance, right? There are so many resources at your fingertips. Allocate your money and your time and your energy according to your goals and how quickly you want to go. All right. So this concludes what I have for you guys, but I want to leave you guys with this particular statement. And I want you to let this sink in and repeat it to yourself. My feet will not be planted in the same place they are today a year from now. Because with everything that you learned today, you know better. So you'll get a chance to do better. So I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for having me. If you guys would be so kind to scan this QR code. I know we're on the computer, or type this in to you. I'll see if I can get the link and put it in the chat, and take this survey for me. Use the code We Rich, because we got that money on. And take that survey for me. This helps to, when it comes down to the curriculum that I'm going to be putting into HBCUs and universities across the nation. They're going to be getting this curriculum that you guys got tonight, but at a higher level. It's a 3-part series that we're going to be putting out there. So your feedback helps me improve the program so much so. So I'll drop that link in the chat so that you guys can take that from. Oh, Keontae, you the shit night. That's what I'm talking about. And type in the code. Type in the code We Rich, and that'll get you into the survey. Thank you guys so much for that. And if you guys are looking to work with me, I will put this in the chat. I made it easier for us, or at least I thought I made it easier for us. I'll stop sharing. And this is a way that you can access all of the resources that I talked about today. I'll go ahead and put that in there so that we can then talk. So if it's one-on-one, we can do that. And then of course, if you guys want access to the Monitoring and Mastery, that is not on there. So you guys would just have to send me a DM and let me know, hey, I want Monitoring and Mastery. But everything else to get on my calendar for the strategy session is there. Everything down to the books that I was recommending on Amazon, that is there as well. So I'll drop that into the chat right now. But in the meantime, in between time, thank you guys so much for having me today, and I hope I was able to learn you something. Bye, y'all.
Brittany, we appreciate you. First and foremost, before everybody hops, please hop in the chat, click on that link and show Brittany some love. some great feedback from the session. First and foremost, as you know, love your energy, love all of the gems that you dropped. I learned a lot, so I'm sure y'all learned a lot. And I think something that was really unique about this session was it wasn't just about being a founder, but even just personal day-to-day life finance. This was a life lesson as well. I find that in a lot of startup curriculum, we focus so heavy on venture capital and angel investors, whereas less than 1% of founders end up receiving VC. Even though I know all of y'all on here have the potential and we're working to make sure that y'all are connected to the VCs in our network, but it all starts at the root of things like this, business credit. So, sometimes we got to take it back to the basics and stop getting so lost in the weeds by skipping the foundation of it all. So, Brittany, we appreciate you. I did want to give anybody online a chance to hop in and ask any final questions or final feedback, but we truly appreciate you, Brittany. I'll pause for one quick second just to make sure I didn't miss anybody for any last questions.
Oh, and the first link is the survey. The second link is to be able to get to me.
Awesome. And I think somebody came off briefly if you guys just had anything that you wanted to say before we close.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to ask, what is your personal recommendation on how many credit cards you should have? Because I know some people say you should only have like 3. Some people say you should have multiple. Like, what is your personal recommendation?
I'll be honest, it really banks on discipline because I know people with 17 credit cards, but they master them things to a T because they use them for different reasons. Some are for travel, some are for just the perks and things like that. Some give them cash rewards or funds their vacation. So it's a lot of different reasons why people would have multiple credit cards. It really banks on the discipline. So if you don't see yourself doing well with 1 or 2 cards, let that be the max, right? Learn how to master that first and then add on additional cards as your discipline gets better. But it really banks on just discipline alone.
So with certain credit card, let's say like, is it okay for you to have a credit card not have anything on it for a time period until you want to use it?
Yes, but you want to find out when you give them a call, you can find out what's their inactivity date. Because here's the thing, if you go inactive with a credit card for a certain period of time, they may reduce your limit or close the account altogether. So you want to know those key 3 things. What kind of programs that they have to protect you, what's the reporting date, and what is any inactivity date. So if I decide not to use the card for some particular times, and mainly you'll see that with like store credit cards, someone's not going to be using a Macy's credit card every single month, right? But if they know that, hey, I can go without using this card for a year before they reduce my limit or cut off the card, they'll then get strategic and say, okay, every 3 months I may go in and buy something just to keep the card active. But you don't want to just have a bunch of inactive cards on your profile because you actually get penalized in your credit score from that. That's good questions. I like that.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Brittany. This is the only freebies we get. After this, we have to hop on and set up a follow-up with Brittany, but we appreciate you gracing us with your time. This has been an amazing session. I know you all learned a lot. And I won't hold you much longer. I know everybody trying to get to their holiday weekend, but Brittany, we appreciate you.
Holiday weekend?
Yeah, Labor Day on Monday.
Where I be at?
Grinding, making the money on.
Okay.
But we appreciate you. Everybody have a great weekend, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. See you guys.
Thanks, Brittany. Thanks, Keon.